If one is going to try and understand life, then one has got to consider a beginning and an end. Because without the beginning and the end, the middle has no meaning. And if you take meaning away from life, then you are in trouble. This is one of the reasons why mankind is in trouble at the present time. Because the various ideologies over the world have tended to ignore the beginning and the end, and to make the middle the all-important. That you live in an ever-present now, experiencing from the past, and using the experience of the past, plus the experience of now, to shape the future. Because, you know, evolution in the universe is an orderly process. The universe is an orderly universe. The Godhead is an ultimate thought from which all other thought stems. Until you can understand what is meant by the meaning of thought, then you really cannot begin to understand the universe. Thought is something which can lift you out of your mundane physical shell. It can open your heart, mind and soul to the wonders of the universe, or it can dash you against the rocks below. Do you look at the universe with an open mind? Do you love your neighbor or judge your neighbor? Do you use your thought positively or negatively? As new thought is created, so the universe expands. Now I use this term even though I know it is confusing when you try to fit this in to an infinite slot. Can there be a beginning and end in infinity? All I can explain to you, dear friends, is that in fact the universe is expanding. And it is expanding because of the process of evolution. Each new thought which is created has in itself the capacity of becoming another universe. And this is a continuous process. Each thought is a tiny, if you like, atom, which has absolute free will. This means that it chooses its own future. It chooses at what speed it is going to learn, at what speed it is going to move, whether it is going to say yes or no at each moment in time. Now the path of evolution is not necessarily a straight one. For it can meander, it can double back and go forward. It depends on each one of you. Your physical body, of course, has limitations. It has physical limitations, it has the constraints of environment and background and all the various factors that affect your present life. The spirit inside you is unfettered by physical bondage. So, put yourself into perspective. You've got to try and place yourself and understand yourself in relation to the universe as a whole, because you are a part of this universe. What is the best way to find spiritual understanding? The natural way must be the answer every time. And man on this planet, face it, my friends, has forgotten how to live with nature. And when I say live with nature, I don't only mean to live in harmony with your natural surroundings, but also in harmony with the world of spirit, in harmony with the various planes of understanding in the universe. This is why you are getting diseases on your planet which are mutationary diseases. What do I mean by the word mutation? I mean something which is unnatural. Something which has become a deviation from the norm. What do I mean by the norm? I mean finding natural harmony with the universe. And I use the word universe deliberately because I want each one of you tonight, as you sit here in your chairs, to expand yourself, to lift yourself out of this room. Forget this room, forget the lights, forget the curtains, forget the walls. Let yourself, just for a moment, become timeless, spaceless, weightless. Let yourself become at one with the universe. Bravo, you try, yes. If you could truly succeed, and it is possible for you to, but if you could succeed and find out how to succeed, you would not have disease, my friends, because disease could not live with this type of harmony. And this is what healing is all about. This is what life is all about. This is what finding spiritual understanding is all about. But what does man prefer to do with his life? He cannot even let plants grow naturally. He tries to better nature. Some of man's experiments with nature have assisted the evolutionary pattern of the planet. Now let me say right away, there is nothing wrong in this. For in your own spiritual seeking, you may find a way of quickening up your understanding. This is not wrong, this is right. And if man finds by irrigating the sand he can produce fertile soil, then this is good. This is good. This is helping evolution. But when man begins to pollute the soil, to pollute the sea, this is wrong. And it is wrong on many levels. As no doubt most of you are aware, if you crossed the Atlantic tomorrow in a ship, you would probably find it difficult to find a square mile that did not contain oil pollution. If mankind carries on like this, what is going to happen? Of course, you will poison life in the sea, because insufficient air will get to the water, because the oil will form a film between the atmosphere and the water underneath. Let's forget the physical side. What happens on another level? You see, let's take a disease which is the scourge of mankind at the present time. Cancer. Let me tell you straight away that cancer is caused by tension. It may be a form of physical tension. Well, in fact, it's always physical tension, because mental tension sets up physical tension. And cancer is caused by friction within the body. And the body becomes polluted, if you like, because of this. And what happens when you set up pollutions in the physical body? I'll tell you, my friend. When you set up pollutions in the physical body, you encourage alien forms of entity to take control. And cancer is a mutation of the cells, as you probably know. But it's a mutation of the cells which exists because there is alien, if you like, spirit life, to put it in one term. Although it is not quite as simple and as crude as that. But it means that there are alien forms of existence inside that physical body. Forms of existence which are alien to the natural evolution of the physical shell. Mankind in time may very well find some chemical to disperse it. As indeed he may find a chemical to disperse the oil on the sea. But it's not tackling the cause. It's only tackling the effect. And if he cures cancer by this means, he will only open the gate to something very much more terrible. And I make that as a prediction, or call it what you like. It's a fact, from my point of view. If you want to cure cancer, then change your way of life. Stop treating the physical body as a convenience. Remember, that physical shell is a part of the universe too. It's been provided for you to experience in physically and materially on this planet. Just as much as the man who tries to overuse his body, who pushes his body into unnatural tensions through worry, through trying to overlive, through trying to even go faster than the type of rat race which is so prevalent on your planet in all walks of life today. Competition, if it is true competition, is a good thing. But today, man has corrupted the true meaning of competition to provide one thing. And it's something which is becoming so prevalent. If you go back to the Middle Ages, mankind used to enjoy inflicting physical cruelty on his fellow beings. But today, man has devised something much more clever than beatings and torture. He has devised the mental torture of one human being over another. And in most of your means of living today, he has made ample use of the weapon, in emotional phraseology, the weapon of the devil. Fear. Because remember, fear is not something of God. It is something of anti-God. And when you've got that lovely fear going in a person, you can use that person however you wish. You know, can I illustrate for you? Let's take business. The fear of losing your job. The fear, if you're running a farm, of not making enough money unless you want... How can you make money running a farm today? Let's cannibalize the animals. Let's put them in tiny pens where they can't breathe or live properly. Then we can make money. We can overcome the fear, or we think we can. And so it goes on. The human body is going to mutate pretty quickly the way you're going. Already it is starting. And this will speed up. Oh, mankind will overcome cancer because the physical body will adapt itself to it. You know, the physical body is a very marvelous thing. It can adapt itself to most things and overcome them. And it will overcome cancer, I can tell you that. But unless you can overcome the cause of cancer, it will become vulnerable to mutations of a much more terrifying nature. In a society like this, we have talked of the future. We have talked of possible catastrophes that could strike this planet. Catastrophes brought about again by the foolishness of man. Yes, these will happen. Look at your eating habits. You know, I could go on all night. You know these things as well as I do. And if you look through life in any direction, you can see ways where man is abusing the cosmic laws of which he is part. The type of pollution, mutation that is taking place is a very serious one. For man is going to help to affect the rhythm of the planet. And if you take your mind right back to the beginning of my talk, you'll remember that I said to you that the universe is an orderly universe. And I come back to that. It is an orderly universe. You have your galaxies, you have your solar systems, you have your planets, and many other forms of heavenly body. Your solar system continues to run smoothly whilst it is in harmony. But when one planet is getting itself more and more out of harmony, it will eventually affect the other planets, and they in turn will affect this planet, and so on. That for some time now, man has taken coal out of the earth. Man is now drawing oil out of the ground at a much greater rate than he has ever considered drawing out coal. And his next step will be to take natural gas at a much higher rate than he ever took the other two together. Throughout history, mankind has always been guilty of taking the easiest path. The same with his spiritual teaching. If you're really going to aspire to a true form of spiritual understanding, then you have chosen a hard path. For there is no shortcut to Godhead. It is a slow, tedious route. If mankind had tackled the problem of power on this planet sensibly, he would have looked to the sun. He would have looked to the movement of the tides. He would have looked to the question of gravity. And if he had worked as hard on that as he has worked on some other things, he would have found methods of producing power that were not drawing out the very lifeblood of the planet. Dear friends, this planet is becoming a mutation. And already this planet is becoming cancerous. And already there are alien forms of life coming onto this planet. I'm sure many of you have read science fiction. Many of you have also read of things like the hogweed. This is just one small form of mutation that is taking place. Men have used insecticides indiscriminately without understanding what they are doing. They have used artificial fertilizers which have provided unnatural balances in the soil. They have sucked the very lifeblood from beneath the soil. And they continue with these practices in an ever-increasing way. Man is very fortunate that the planet has been as tolerant as it has. But you see, on the whole, life in the universe is very much more tolerant than the rather stupid, petty belligerence which mankind chooses to exhibit. But even the tolerance of the planet Earth cannot go on in an infinite manner. And the time is coming fast, dear friends, when your planet is going to come out of balance. And when your planet becomes out of balance, so will the solar system come out of balance. And this is one of the factors that could affect and cause a tilt of this planet. Because nature will suit to find the means of righting that which is wrong. And the easiest way it can do it is by altering the axis of this planet. A simple but very effective way. For one thing, it would curb the stupidity of man. Secondly, it would balance up some of the unbalance which has been created by man's prostitution of the planet itself. You think the amount of food that can be got from the sea. You could feed your entire planet from the sea. Not only from fish, but from some of the plant life which exists beneath it. Now consider the speed at which man is attempting to pollute the waters, not only with oil, but with industrial waste. I'm sure you're all aware that many of the chemicals which are being pumped into the sea cannot be destroyed. The highly toxic chemicals makes interesting food for thought, doesn't it? So, the evolutionary mutation I am speaking of tonight is one which is going to affect the evolution of this planet. The greatest evolutionary mutation of all, from your point of view. And mankind is going to become part of this, unless he can really come to his senses. If you know of a movement which is supporting any form of purification, water, plant life, of animal life, do please support it. For believe me, it is the only chance you have of bringing about a form of survival of life as you know it today. Some of you may well consider that it would be a good thing for it to be changed anyway. Maybe you're right. But you know, from the point of view of cosmic law, we do not necessarily want to see suffering and destruction. And from our point of view, we always prefer to see people acknowledge the failings which they have. And despite whatever you may think, it is never too late to do this. You know, it's all there in any teaching that you've ever read, whether it be Christian, Eastern, occult, whatever it is, it's all there. It's never too late to admit that you're wrong. It's never too late to try and right a wrong. You see, every little thought on your planet has this free will to accept or reject. You don't have to accept what I'm saying this evening. You have the free will to reject it. You can accept the Godhead, you can reject it. Sometimes the most dangerous areas are those which lie between acceptance and rejection. Somewhere in between when you're not quite sure which way you're going. Let's cut out fear. Let's cut out the importance of personalized life. For remember, it is the I, the spirit within you which matters, not that silly old physical shell. You know, if people really believed in reincarnation, this would cut down one fear aspect, because you would know that if you fail in one life, you come back again. There's this fearful clinging on to life in the Western world, which causes so much tension and fear. Fear of dying. Fear of death. Death, where is thy sting? How very true. In one sense, this is what spiritual understanding is about. This is why I have always said to you, dear friends, when you try to seek, do so with an open mind, an open heart, and an open spirit. There is only one state of understanding where there is all understanding. A paradox? No. Only in the state of perfection, which is the Godhead itself, is there complete and absolute understanding. At any other level, you are still seeking and not seeing the whole picture. So really, at the state of evolution which you are in, no one has the right to consider that they know all or any of the answers. I have compared that statue, Nelson's column, with absolute truth. And if you climb in a balloon at the bottom and you start to ascend, as the balloon gets higher and higher, so your perspective changes. When you first look over the basket, you see the base of the statue. And then gradually you begin to see the whole square. Later on, you'll begin to see the whole of London town. And each time you look out of your basket sideways, you see another facet of Nelson's column. It's the same truth, but you're seeing it from a different point of view. And this is what evolution is all about. And each one of you, my friends, is somewhere climbing up the side of Nelson's column. Pretty crowded, isn't it? But seriously, each one of you is somewhere up the side of Nelson's column. seeing the same picture from a different viewpoint. So no one here has the right to condemn someone else. You are each seeking from your own point of view. And somewhere from this completely open-minded vista, you've got to accept that there's such a thing as good and evil. And you've got to decide whether your view of Nelson's column is making you look upwards and outwards, or downwards and inwards. Because evil in itself is a very positive thing. Evil is a complete rejection of the Godhead. What happens when you completely reject the Godhead? Well, of course, you must set yourself up as your own God. In opposition, if you like. And some spirits become pretty good at it. Hence you get the so-called devil. This is really a representation of a very strong positive form of evil. So when you look from your viewpoint up Nelson's column, you've got to be completely open-minded. You've got the free will to look any way you wish. And the experience of life and living and evolution is to know whether you're looking in the right way or the wrong way. No one can tell you what is right and wrong. You are the only person that can decide about yourself, about your life, your evolution, and the life of evolution of everyone around you. You are a part of the whole, and only you can find your place in the universe. Basically, I think each one of you understands what I have said about thought, but just let us recap. The universe is an ever-expanding universe made up of thought. Thought impulses. It's an orderly universe. So they aren't all higgledy-piggledy, but they go round rather like planets round the sun. Atoms. Vibration. Movement. Rhythm. Rhythm is when you go with thought. Trouble is when you try to go against it. To understand thought is no good trying to row against the tide. You've got to row with it. Because when you row with it, you are sufficiently relaxed in your heart, body and mind to look around you. You are relaxed sufficiently to drink in the waters of the universe. Thought is created from this Godhead. It comes into each one of you. You call it a spirit. And it seeks to express and to grow within your physical body. So that that thought, that spirit within you can begin to understand what physical, material experience stands for. The wise spirit is the one which remains in control. The unwise one is the one which allows the physical shell to take command. Remember, every thought that you make in your life, you are creating. In the same way that the Godhead created you, you are capable of creating thought yourself. Not thought in the sense of other spirits, but thought in the sense of an impulse which goes out into the atmosphere. So, next time you think ill of your neighbour, next time you complain because someone hasn't done something that you think they should do because it doesn't fall in with your pattern of life,
These are the crude standards you live by, aren't they? Next time that happens, ask yourself, is this positive thought or destructive, negative thought? Because you can't stop it. Once you've made that thought, it's gone on forever and ever and ever. You see, thought is eternal. Don't forget that. Very important.